The Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
Louisa Maria, thank you so much for taking the time out to speak to us on Zoom. You've released a couple of singles in lockdown, the first one being in May. What's it called?
So the first one in May was called One Lump of Sugar.
And you also, well, first of all, what was it like releasing a single in lockdown? Was it weird?
Yeah, so when it all kind of kicked off, I was sort of thinking like, oh no, like now that's going to come out right, in the middle of this new big development. And I kind of said to the studio, what's the best thing to do? But then instead of pulling it, I just thought, let's just try and make the best of the situation. And there was lots of things going, all the live streaming was just starting up, and it kind of had a bit of a buzz about it as well. So I just decided to just, stick with the plans and go for it. But it was a bit risky, not going to lie.
Was it always the plan to release it at that point?
Yeah, so the dates were already set in place. So that was why I kind of was like, oh, okay, this is going to be an interesting one now. And all of a sudden, my release plan with the gigs that I would have done around it, and obviously the actual launch night, it would have had a gig for it.
Yeah.
Obviously, all that wasn't available. So it was just really kind of improvisation properly and, in the moment, really.
And how did you find that?
Yeah, just interesting because it was people online's responses to different things. I came up with like a different idea of campaign. So in the end, because everyone was doing all these lockdown activities, I thought, why not try to play on this and make the best of it? So I was doing video posts like, 14 days before it was out. I was sort of doing, at home aerobics, lockdown style, things like that, like watching the news lockdown and, waiting for the announcements to come out at 5:00 videos and telling everyone pre-order. So it kind of turned into a bit of a funny theme for those weeks.
So it kind of like forced you to be a bit creative, more than you bargained for, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But then that really excited me because obviously just, being more creative in that sense anyway, it kind of presented me with a new challenge, which was interesting.
Because the artwork as well was produced during lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How did you come out with the idea for that?
So I wanted it to have like an Alice in Wonderland theme because the music is quite like sort of out there and fantasy orientated in that sense. So we just kind of went out in my back garden and we just recreated like the kind of, the Alice in Wonderland with the, the kettle and the, the nice teacups and things. And just kind of tried to stage it a certain way. And there was like a bit of a tree in the garden that had been like chopped before. So it kind of had these choppy tree trunks, and we put like, some of the mugs and kettles and stuff on top of that, or teapots. And it kind of just, it just painted the scene. It just came together in a really weird way, but it captured what I wanted, which was good.
It looked really cool. So it's quite interesting to hear like how it happened in that way. Because you've also got a video as well.
Yeah, so the music video as well was sort of filmed just basically all around where I live. So that originally was meant to be a full-on production with a load of dancers. So we were going to have dancers wearing like, the cards of Alice in Wonderland and all of that.
So good though.
We were going to have like, they'd already choreographed it and stuff. And we had to obviously pull all the dates that were booked. So we were just like, right, we're in the middle of nowhere in lockdown. We're just going to have to get out on the road, go into the, go on some country walks and just mess around with this and see what we can do. And then jumping on the bed was an interesting one with the guitar. We were like, yeah, let's, rock it up.
You did well though. It looks really good, and like I think in like a normal situation you wouldn't even think about the fact that it was done in lockdown. So
it came together really well. And the video editor, he was really good at making some really cool effects. So at one point I sort of jumped into like I just jumped in my garden, but he made it look like I'd gone down the hole. So
so good.
So that was interesting.
So the outline of the track you said was based on a fantasy. Like, what gave you that idea?
So I had kind of like I think it was around Christmas time I'd started writing these new tracks, and I've been out to Ireland with this Christmas song that I'd done, and I'd done a bit of stuff on like a television station in Belfast had me on to do an interview and play that, which was cool, and I did a mini tour, and I think it was kind of when I came back from Ireland, I just was, you know, pretty much of the essence of, because all my solo career was, you know, it still kind of is new as well from where I moved on from. So I was sort of thinking, you know, anything's possible. You just have to put yourself out there. And then that kind of brought around the sense of like, you know, yeah, you know, you can do whatever you want. The world is, you know, the world is what you want it to be, which, you know, then brought around the fact of like, this kind of song I started playing as well was also very inspired by the Billie Eilish style, and that's all also a bit kind of airy fairy in that sense too. So I thought actually Alice in Wonderland vibe, fantasy vibe is actually what I wanted to pursue with those songs. So yeah.
I nearly said Alice in Irish. That would have gone down well. Did you record it at Puzzle Maker Studios then?
Yeah, so recorded all those tracks at Puzzle Maker in Bristol. Yeah,
that was really cool. So so many artists that come on this show have recorded there, and obviously like we've had Danny McMahon on this show several times as well. So it's nice that there's like a little kind of circle.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that where you're going tomorrow?
No, so no, actually no. That's my. I call it the studio, but it's kind of just my writing room. So basically, yeah, I had decided when I first moved back to Bristol, I kind of thought instead of kind of you know, sort of renting like, you know, anywhere sort of big or anything like that, or, you know, sort of budget, I wanted to work in something that I could afford to like practice in instead of renting like, you know, rehearsal rooms with my band as well. So yeah, so I have there's like a unit basically out in Bath, and they just all the rooms. So I just got one of the top rooms, but I've made it like my own. It's got like a little stage in it, and it's got all my gear in there, and the band come in.
That's really cool.
So it's fun, yeah.
Alpha Sessions with Emma Joyce.
So releasing one tune during lockdown wasn't enough. You went and released a second one as well. Did you kind of feel a bit like, well, I've got this sauce now, so I'm going to do another one?
It kind of, well, it's funny because it was all set in the dates, and I did wonder again. I sort of said to the studio again, like, do you think it's a good idea? You know, should I really do this? But then their take on it also was like, you know, because I'm kind of new in that sense. Even though I say I had that knowing from following from the previous band, it was still a new product, a new project, and I think they were kind of worried that I'd lose some of the year if I didn't, you know, put another one out. But then to my amazement, that one, I mean, the first one went really well, but I mean, that one has gone amazing. You know, being picked up on all these different sites and stations. I couldn't believe it, really.
All I can say, like, from a listener perspective, is that I think listeners are just as inclined to listen during this period of time, if not more so, because there is less to kind of keep them occupied. So the more new music, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, totally. That's true. Yeah, people are distracting themselves in all different ways, and getting into new music, I think, is definitely a big one.
So talk to us about the influences on the Bang Bang Drop track.
Yeah, so basically it's kind of like I related it a bit more personally to me in terms of like my journey through the music industry so far.
Right.
You never really, there's no set journey, there's no set path, you don't know what's going to happen, and I found myself in so many strange and random situations, you know, all over the planet, like whether it be here, be in Australia, Spain, or wherever, like, you know, and people in the industry, you know, with every kind of creative industry, will promise you things and they won't come through, you know, or they'll keep you hanging on, you know, and you're always kind of waiting for the next opportunity to come up. So this song kind of reflects like my journey in terms of like, you know, you think you're onto something and then actually bam, you're back to square one again. And so that's kind of what it was sort of about. And also there's lyrics in the song which are kind of to do with mental health in terms of, you know, like headstrong is the decade we live in. Like that's one of the lyrics, and it just means that, you know, where our society, the way it's built upon today, people are so up in their minds about, you know, how they should be, whether it's, you know, how they should act, how they should look, or what they should be doing. And you've got social media influencing it as well, that you get a lot of false perceptions. And I feel like people mentally have to deal with that, you know, a lot more than we obviously used to. So it's all about kind of like, you know, trying to break through these barriers, and no matter what goes wrong, what opportunity you lose, there's always, you know, you just have to keep going, and it's all about where your mind is, basically. 100%. That's the message.
Do you think the track was an outlet for your personal frustrations?
In a way, yeah, but also in a sense of wanting to influence people, and, you know, for the greater good, really. I suppose, you know, like it's just what you make of it, and kind of like, as I say earlier, you know, this world is what you do, your life is what you do with it, and no matter what happens, just keep pushing on, basically.
Do you think with releasing a second track in lockdown, you had to be even more creative with how you promote it?
Yeah, so it kind of went through a bit of a whirlwind in some senses, because I was thinking about doing a music video for it, and then trying to sort of see if the lockdown was going to ease anytime soon, so I could maybe do a launch for it. So I had all the artwork and everything made and all of that, and then started posting things out online. But then before I could also plan anything else, it then got picked up on the BBC Upload in Bristol.
I want to talk about this.
And then the AIM thing was, so I kind of was like, oh, but then it all just took the attention. So then there was more to run with. So it made it a bigger campaign in that sense.
So how did the BBC Upload thing come about?
So basically, I had uploaded it just generally through the player. And I just suddenly had this email, and they were like, you know, not only have we picked your track for BBC Upload, but we've also featured it as track of the week. So I was like, oh, that's amazing. So it was getting airplay every single day.
That's so cool.
It was great. Reading the email, like, oh.
So good. And you also got nominated for the Best Live Act at the AIM Awards, which is amazing. And when did you find that out?
So yeah, basically it just came through. So I've been a member of the AIM Awards now for quite a while, and so like I update, you know, on a regular basis, like my information with them, like what I'm doing, what's going on, and you know, any tours and gigs and stuff that I've got. And I'd done a couple of things earlier on in the year or earlier on in lockdown. I'd done a couple of things that have come through the AIM, like they present out opportunities to their artists, and there was the kitchen sink sessions, which was very interesting, where I had to literally go in my kitchen and I could use an instrument, but I had to use everything else to make the song. And I'd done a couple of those things. They featured that, and then it was like I carried on updating them with my release, and obviously One Lump of Sugar did really well with the singer-songwriter chart too. That all of a sudden I just got another email, and it literally came after the BBC Upload one. I was like, now I've been shortlisted. I'm nominated for it now.
Sorry, I should say that for those people that don't know, AIM is Association of Independent Music, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've got a vision of you in your kitchen banging a saucepan with a wooden spoon.
yeah. It pretty much. I'll have to send you the video for that. I had like my loop station on, like, normally that I'd operate with my feet on the side. And then I had like a wine glass, and I was like, you know, doing all the stuff around like and a cork. There was another bottle with a cork, and I was like pulling the cork out, which was making like the bomb for the bass drum.
Did you have to like experiment beforehand, because you had to make sure that things made the right sound, right? So you almost had to rehearse first time.
I had to like kick everyone out the kitchen. I was like, no one can use the kitchen for like 3 hours. I need to like rehearse this set. And everyone was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just collecting things that will make good noises.
As you do.
No one had a clue.
So when did you find out about the nomination for the award?
So I think it was just about a month ago now. It must be going about maybe 5 weeks or so ago. Yeah, about that.
Okay. And like, when did you find out?
So the awards are actually on the 12th of August. So
so soon.
So quite soon, like next week or so. There's a lot. There was some really great art. I was really chuffed, to be honest, to be nominated, because there was about 53 other artists that were nominated as well. It was quite a lot, and but what was great was that some of them I'd actually toured with in my last band, which was amazing. So I was like, this is actually really cool, because when I'd left that last band, I wasn't sure where I was going to go and sit. So to actually then be pursuing this new, new solo career, and then actually kind of be all, not on par, I wouldn't say, but be recognized with these group of people, that for me was enough, really, in that sense. So I mean, as much as I'd love to actually win the awards, I don't know if I'm sort of, hoping maybe one day in the future, in the next years to come. But this time round, it was just fantastic to be nominated and be recognised, I think, which, that's really
You never know, you might win.
You never know. I want to keep my fingers crossed.
What do you think it would mean to you if you did?
I think it would be absolutely insane. I mean, I would be so chuffed, with everything that I've done. I still feel like there's a lot more to do with this new project. There's a lot more touring yet to be done, a lot more music, to be made and put out there. But it would just mean to have that kind of, that recognition of, everything I've done up to this point, because it's, with music, as I say, nothing's guaranteed. You're always on an opportunity. You're always hanging on, by a thread. And it's not always, a sustainable income either. So
no, of course.
Sometimes you think, I haven't, even that was a great opportunity, but it's not sustained the bills that month. I'll have to be doing this job to sustain it. But the reward of just that recognition sometimes, is enough to cover those gaps, fill those holes, fill the void.
The Alpha Sessions.
What kind of artists and music have you been listening to during lockdown?
Oh, that's a really good question. So yeah, I've been listening to some like really different ones. Do you know, you picking my brains now. I'm gonna have to quickly.
Sorry if I put you on the spot.
That's all right. I actually yeah. So this one actually, Emily View, which was really interesting, and this was also because I had been my track Bang Bang Drop got put onto this Spotify playlist by this lady called Helen who puts it together called She Makes Pop Music,
Cool.
and because she was interested in my track, obviously I really wanted to see who else she was listening to and what's going on. So I listened to a couple of these, and the three that really stood out to me was Emily View, Erin Kirby, and Kind Lies, which was really interesting.
Is that lies as in Lies?
Lies, yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'll check that out.
Yeah, those three in particular really caught me. And I mean, before that, it was all I was being really taken in by Billie Eilish quite a lot. I mean, it's just so cinematic. I love that. Yeah.
Great choice for a Bond theme, definitely.
By far.
So if you were to get a call tomorrow, and COVID-19 wasn't a thing, and you were told you could gig anywhere in the world at any venue, could be like a venue that you've played before that you thought was amazing, or a venue that you've always wanted to play, where would it be?
Oh wow, that's a really good question. So I would say since I saw John Mayer at the O2 Arena in London, it was really random because I went to the gig and I was sat just in like, you know, just normal like stools watching, and I was putting these thoughts out, and I was like, one day I really want to be on that stage, like it would be amazing, you know, full out arena. 3 weeks later I ended up in my old band, which did get an invite to play but not the main stage, just in the entrance of the O2, and it was bizarre because I wasn't even in that band at that point when I put those vibes out. I was just watching John Mayer, wishing that I was his support act. And then, so yeah, ever since that moment, it's now been my thing of one day I'm going to get to the O2 Arena on that main stage. Even though it's London, it's UK. I think that, you know, would be a great aim, definitely.
And if you were to collaborate with someone on that stage, would it be John Mayer or would it be someone else?
Oh, that's interesting. So I love John Mayer because it's bluesy, but also with my style, I guess more fitting would be like artists like Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
I would include Billie Eilish in it, but my all-time favorite is probably Lady Gaga, because I play piano. Piano was my main instrument, and ever since she did that, you know, that film and that song Shallow, A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
My Spanish friends made me watch that film with them in Spain, and they were like, "You need to be like her, you know. This is how you become famous. Do what she did in the film." And ever since they tried to, like, you know, they were giving me all this inspiration, I've always covered that one song, and it's stuck with me. So I think Lady Gaga, Billie Eilish. I picked three, haven't I?
And Ed Sheeran.
And Ed Sheeran.
Are we going to form a supergroup on this OT stage then? Is that a thing?
Oh, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? It just starts with a thought, right? It just starts
absolutely. So if people want to find out more about you, where can they go? What can they do?
So I've pretty much got everything social media going that you can think of. So I've got my website, which is louisamaria.co.uk. Then there's Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, Patreon, YouTube, everything. And it's just all under Louisa Maria Official, basically.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to chat to us. And hopefully we'll be able to keep up with your updates and maybe get to a gig soon at some point.
Yeah, I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you. I really enjoyed that. Thanks.